When someone stops loving you, it doesn't always happen with a loud fight or a big announcement. In fact, it's often much quieter than that. There may not be any yelling or doors slamming. They might still talk to you, still eat dinner at the same table, still sleep in the same bed. But something changes. And if you're not really paying attention, you might not notice it at first. The change is small, soft, almost hidden. But little by little you start to feel it. The warmth is gone. The closeness that once felt natural now feels forced or missing. It's like they're still there, but somehow not really with you anymore. One of the first signs that someone may have stopped loving you is that they lose curiosity about your life. In the beginning, or when love is still strong, your partner might ask you little things. How did your doctor's appointment go? Did you get to talk to your sister today? Or even, how did you sleep last night? These questions aren't just words, they show care. They show they're thinking of you, and that they still want to be part of your daily world. But when someone begins to fall out of love, they stop asking. You might talk to them about your day, about something that matters to you, but they don't seem interested anymore. Maybe they nod, say, uh-huh, or just keep looking at the TV or their phone. They don't ask follow-up questions. They stop showing that spark of interest they once had. Over time, it feels like you're talking, but your words don't land. You feel like your stories don't matter anymore. And that hurts. It's not that your life became less interesting. It's that their heart isn't as involved, and that quiet loss of interest can make you feel unseen. Another sign is that their patience becomes much shorter. Where they once were gentle and kind, they now seem irritated or cold. Maybe they used to laugh with you when you told the same story again, or help you kindly when you forgot something. Now they snap. You might hear sighs, see eye rolls, or get short, sharp replies when you ask something simple. For example, you might ask for help logging into your computer, or remembering where you left your glasses. And instead of helping, they say something like, "Figure it out yourself." It may seem small, but it doesn't feel small when it happens. It feels like you're walking on eggshells, like you're always worried about bothering them. But love means giving each other grace, especially when we're older, when we sometimes need a little more help and patience. If their patience has turned into frustration, it may be because their emotional connection to you is fading, even if they haven't said it out loud. A third sign is that the time you spend together starts to disappear, not just in hours, but in real, shared moments. You might still live under the same roof, but you feel alone. They may stop making time for your shared routines, like watching a show together, or sitting with you over breakfast. Maybe they go into another room more often, or leave the house without asking if you'd like to come along. You might notice that they no longer invite you to do things with them. Even when they are physically there, their mind seems elsewhere. The conversation stops, the laughter fades. You begin to feel like two strangers just living in the same home. And the saddest part is, you remember what it felt like when you used to do everything together. When people love each other, they make time, not because they have to, but because they want to. If that time has slowly slipped away, it may be a sign that the love, or at least the emotional closeness, is slipping too. A fourth sign is emotional distance. This one is harder to see because everything might look the same on the outside. They still speak to you, still make dinner or do the chores, but something is missing underneath it all. They used to tell you how they felt, about work, about family, about what was on their mind or in their heart. You felt like their partner, their safe place. But now, they stop opening up. When you ask them what's wrong, they say, "I'm fine," or "Don't worry about it." They might still talk, but not about anything real, not about what's truly bothering them or what's going on deep down. And when you try to get close emotionally, they turn away. You feel like they're building a wall between you and them. That hurts deeply because love isn't just about sharing chores or a home. It's about sharing your inner life, your heart. When that emotional connection fades, it can feel like you're no longer a team. The fifth sign is physical distance. When someone starts pulling away emotionally, the body often follows. They stop hugging you just because. They don't reach for your hand while walking or kiss you goodnight like they used to. You might try to rest your hand on their arm or shoulder, and they don't respond, or worse, they pull away. Sitting together on the couch no longer feels cozy, just quiet and empty. They might turn their back to you in bed or avoid touch altogether. These small things might not seem like much to others, but to you they mean everything. Physical closeness, especially as we grow older, is more than just romance, it's comfort. It's a sign that says, I still see you, I still love you, I still choose you. When that's gone, it's not just the body that feels it, it's the soul. It leaves a deep kind of loneliness, even if you're not physically alone. Sometimes the signs that love is fading don't shout, they whisper. They show up not in loud arguments or big announcements, but in the quiet ways a person begins to step back, little by little. While we've already talked about some of the most common signs, like emotional distance, lack of curiosity, or time apart, there are other signs too. These might be more subtle, but they still carry deep meaning. We call these bonus signs not because they're less important, but because they often go unnoticed until one day you realize something doesn't feel right anymore. If you've been feeling unsure in your relationship, or if something just feels off, these quiet changes may help you understand what's really going on. The good news is that noticing these signs isn't about placing blame. It's about caring enough for yourself to ask, do I still feel loved here? Do I feel seen, valued, and cared for? Because you deserve to be treated with tenderness and truth, even after many years together. Let's gently explore 2 more signs that love may be drifting, so you can better understand what your heart has been trying to tell you. Bonus sign 1. You start feeling like a burden instead of a blessing. One of the quieter but deeply hurtful signs that love is fading is when you begin to feel like you're in the way rather than wanted. In the past, your presence may have brought comfort, laughter, or peace to your partner. Maybe they used to say, I don't know what I'd do without you. Or they'd thank you for the little things, making dinner, folding laundry, or simply being there with a warm smile at the end of the day. But now you might notice a shift in how they respond to you. You may hear sighs when you ask a question, or they might say things like, why do you always need help? Or can't you just figure it out? Even simple conversations might be met with impatience or eye rolls. Over time, this can start to make you feel like you're a nuisance instead of a partner. You begin to hesitate before speaking, before asking for support, before even reaching out to share your feelings, because you worry that your needs might annoy them. This is heartbreaking because love is supposed to make us feel safe, not small. When someone truly loves you, they want to be there for you, not just during the easy times, but when you feel unsure, lonely, or in need of a little help. Feeling like a burden doesn't mean you've done something wrong. It often means the other person has stopped showing appreciation and empathy. That lack of gentle kindness can wear down your spirit, making you question your worth in the relationship. But here's what's true. You are not a burden. Your needs are not too much. Your presence is valuable. If you've started to feel like you take up too much space instead of being welcomed, it's not something to ignore. It's a quiet sign that emotional care may have drifted, and that you deserve to feel cherished, not merely tolerated. Bonus sign 2. They stop making an effort to repair after conflict. In every relationship, disagreements happen. Sometimes it's over big things, sometimes over small things like what to eat for dinner or how the bills should be handled. But when love is strong, both people usually care enough to make things right after a conflict. They'll say, I'm sorry, or I didn't mean to upset you, or let's talk about it. Even if the issue isn't solved right away, there's still a desire to come back together, to mend the connection, and to understand each other better. But when someone has started pulling away emotionally, that effort to repair things often disappears. Instead of talking things through, they walk away. Instead of saying, let's fix this, they say, whatever, or just stay silent for hours or days. The warm apologies are gone. The gentle touch after an argument doesn't come anymore. You're left feeling like you're the only one who wants to make things better. This can be one of the most painful changes in a long relationship, especially when you're used to being part of a team that cared enough to fight for the connection, not just walk away from it. When the other person no longer reaches out after tension or stops trying to ease the hurt, it creates a growing wall between you. It says, without words, this relationship is no longer my priority. And the saddest part? After enough of these unresolved moments, you might start holding everything in. Your hurt, your disappointment, your feelings. Because you've learned that bringing it up doesn't change anything. That's not how love is supposed to feel. If this sounds familiar, it's not about who's right or wrong. It's about whether both people still care enough to hold each other's hearts gently, even in the hard moments. Love doesn't mean there are no arguments. It means you still choose to come back together after them. Now, all of these signs may be hard to notice at first, but over time, they add up. You start to feel the difference. You may not want to believe it. You might make excuses or tell yourself not to worry, but your heart knows when something has changed. If you've noticed these signs, if you feel more alone, more like a burden, more like a stranger in your own relationship, it's important to pay attention. You're not imagining it. These feelings are real, and you don't need to suffer in silence or carry the blame. Love, when it's true, makes you feel seen, heard, and valued. If that love has faded, it's okay to ask the hard questions. Do I still feel cared for? Do I feel emotionally safe? Do I still feel chosen? You deserve a love that doesn't disappear quietly. A love that stays. A love that leans in, not away. And if the love in your life feels like it's leaving, the most important thing is not to pretend it isn't. The most important thing is to take care of your heart, be honest with yourself, and remember, you still matter. Deeply.